We're here with Sam Mathers of Fitter Futures in the Brisbane area, and I'm going to try and say this Indooroopilly,
Indooroopilly,
Australia.
Indooroopilly, yeah.
And this is why I am not going to continue talking now. Yeah, I'm passing to Sam to tell her story of her kind of why. Why is she working with kids? Why is she in the fitness world? What drives her? So we'd love to hear from you, Sam.
Thank you, guys. Well, my journey into this wasn't the conventional path. I started out as a corporate lawyer and was a management consultant, but I was always fit and healthy and active, and I was really grateful that I'm probably more grateful now because I understand the value of it. But as a kid, was a jack of all trades, master of none, played lots of sport, always had something on after school, and just had a very active lifestyle. And so that continued for me as an adult. Funnily enough, even when I was a corporate lawyer, working for an international law firm, I was the person who was, motivating people to join up for the corporate triathlon, or organising the 10K fun run, or organising the runs after work to help people who never run before, building up to their first 5K. So I kind of look back on it now and I can see that this was always, I guess this thread was always in my story, but it wasn't what I thought I wanted to, well, it wasn't what I wanted to do. I thought I wanted to be, a high flying lawyer. And so I actually started coaching in a kids program at a gym that I was training at, and they needed more coaches, and so they asked me if I'd be interested in getting involved, and it was all volunteer. I did it in exchange for like free membership at the gym, but I genuinely was interested in learning more about it. And I guess that was probably where the seed was planted, because I realised just how much I enjoyed it and how much satisfaction I got out of seeing the change in the kids we were training. And probably about 7 years ago now, which is when I first started coaching, I remember saying to my husband, if I could do anything and money didn't matter, if I could just do what I felt really strongly about, it would be to try and do something with this, coaching kids and coaching teens, because I can see this impact that we're having. And but at that point, I didn't even think it was an option, because I was earning very good money in the corporate world, and I'd spent 8 years of my life studying to be a lawyer and to pursue that. So I never really thought that was a possibility. A couple of years later, things changed, and I was feeling more and more strongly about it, and I was not feeling as satisfied as I probably thought I should in my day-to-day job. I was earning really good money and all that, and I had a really sweet arrangement. I was working for myself. I had lots of flexibility, so I kind of had everything I wanted in that sense. But and the words were, I said to my husband again, I said, I know what I'm doing pays really well and it's convenient for the life I have, but I'm not changing lives. I'm making corporates more profitable. I was doing some work for Queensland government at the time, but I'm not changing lives. And I guess, I don't know, call it a midlife crisis. It wasn't really a crisis, but it was probably just this realization that I felt like I wanted to sort of do more and help more people. And few things happened that I had this break in between jobs and contracts, and I thought, okay, let's just give this a crack, and we'll set up Fitter Futures. And at that point, it was just about trying to get into schools and doing more with schools. Now, where Brand X comes into it is that at that point we had a conscious decision to make about who we wanted to align with in this journey of really sort of pursuing this. And we'd actually been using Brand X method programming anyway in the program that I'd been coaching in. And my coaching partner had met Jeff and Mickey already and done training, through a different program. So we were already familiar with the Martins. We were already familiar with the Brand X programming. And, the more we looked into it and what the alternatives were, for me, everything that Brand X stood for and the values and, you know, what the mission was about doing what's best for kids, that resonated with me. And I thought, these are, you know, you need to really believe in the product or the service that you're offering. The Martins and Brand X for me represented that. And yeah, it was a no-brainer. We thought, yep, let's become a Brand X Method training center. And I liked that that there was a process that we had to go through, that sort of quality assurance process, because, you know, I wanted to be part of something that represented quality and value, and you know, not just anybody being able to do this. Like, you had to kind of prove that you were the right person, the right people. Yeah, I guess the rest is history. When we opened, we started with, we didn't have our own space. We rented space in other people's gyms, and we only had it for like 2 hours in the afternoon when the gym was available, before, you know, between when school finished and when adult classes started. And, you know, we had 14 kids in our first period that we opened. We only offered we were running like 2 afternoons a week, and I was still doing my consulting work at this stage. I kept my finger in that pie because, you know, obviously it wasn't really financial at that point for, you know, for it to support me. Yeah, we're now 4.5 years later, and we've got this incredible facility now. We've grown 10 times in sort of revenue, I guess, over that 4 years. And, you know, it's sort of the growth is continuing. Yeah, it's continuing to sort of grow like that. Even post-COVID, we're actually doing well. We've got a bit of catching up to do, obviously, with the closures through COVID. But, yeah, I guess, you know, I'm grateful for the background that I had in sort of business and consulting, and I think that's definitely helped to get to where we are. And I guess even from the beginning, knowing that I needed to have a really clear vision about what Fitter Futures stood for, what our core values were going to be, you know, how do we live up to that, and, you know, what kind of place do we want to be, and, you know, that's being our, you know, I guess your moral compass, or your, you know, what kind of guides every decision is, you know, making sure that we stay true to that. So yeah, it's been a great journey. I love being part of the Brand X network, and being a Brand X Method lab. Oh my gosh, like what an honor that was when you guys asked me. And, you know, I feel very proud, but also I feel a responsibility too, to really do this really well, to do justice to what Brand X represents, and, you know, the good that we can do in the world.